You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt, the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
That's right. We are live with COVID Marketing episode number 59. We are week daily at 11:11 Eastern Standard Time. If you have questions on marketing or business or whatever, let us know in the comments wherever you find folk are seeing this. I'm Brent Kobayashi of the Kobayashi Zeitgeist, a marketing agency here in Toronto, Canada. And with me is Mr. Arthur Tutt, a marketing specialist at the KZ.
I'm about to sneeze.
All right. We'll wait for you. Bless you in advance.
It's going away. It's going away. It was right on the edge. Going away.
So, all right. Shades off. Now, so I actually was told
Brent,
this once.
Why do you look so good today?
Because today's a prime number day. So today is
It's like we can actually see you.
I know, and it's a level up. I'm no longer like pink because this camera on my laptop really kind of sucks. And so I've got a actual phone camera, which is way better than a laptop camera. Probably just because the laptop's old and the phone is newer-ish. And so that was the thing we're doing. Every prime number, we're going to level up. I don't think we have a giveaway though for today.
Well, the giveaway is your beautiful face.
Thank you. We still got to figure out this whole thing. Like I've got the phone, it's on a chair, which is on a thing, and I got a tissue box over here, and I've got a notepad behind the lighting. Like this is, if you would look at this is a complete disaster around me, all for the perfect shot. And I'm going to have a very tough time because I really want to be talking into the camera, but you're way down here. So it's going to be challenging. I'm going to mostly talk to the camera and see if I can do this. That all you people out there right now, just got to say, I love you, but right now you are the cold, soulless, dead stare of a camera lens. And I'm trying to connect with you.
Was that like a Jaws reference?
Jaws?
Jaws? Them cold, dead eyes?
Oh, no, I don't know. I don't even remember, not sure if I saw Jaws all the way through.
Too boring?
I don't know. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. My brother saw Jaws. He made my dad take him to the movie. And I'm going to tell you actually after the episode because we're supposed to be doing marketing right now. All right? We're not. This is pre-show conversation or post-show conversation. So
this is serious. Let's get to the serious stuff.
If you want to know about my brother and Jaws, I'll tell you after the show. Okay, so today we are going to get into campaign attributes that may be impacting your marketing success or your marketing flops, continuing on from episode 49 and episode 54. From the past where we dug into things like UTMs and the Facebook pixel and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that type of thing, check out our past episodes. Okay. So Arthur, what are you thinking?
Well, so I feel like our past episode, we were talking about basically how to set up tracking, how to set up UTM parameters and all of that. I feel like today's episode's more going to be looking at, okay, now that you set that up and you've started collecting data, what can you actually do with that data? How can you interpret the data? And then how can you actually optimize your campaign to make the most of what's working and do less of what's not working?
Yes. So let's not just specifically dive into UTM data and that kind of stuff. That can be part of it. But just now you're starting to look at your analytics and you really want to figure out what to do with those analytics and how do you actually make business or marketing decisions with those analytics?
Right. So,
all right.
What I was thinking for a first point, because it's a fairly easy one to understand, like to wrap your head around, but looking at the time of day, right? And so, for example, when you're setting up an ad campaign, initially to start with, you would probably run your campaign 24/7, right? So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's going to be running, and you can start collecting data. Once you've been running it for a while, you can actually start to look at the trends and see what's actually working and what's not working. And to give an example here, I'm just thinking of one of the clients that we worked with, who is working the dental industry, and they started running their ads from 6 a.m. What we found though was that from 7 a.m. onwards, I don't remember the numbers exactly off the top of my head now, but let's just say they were generating leads for, $30 per lead from 7 a.m. onwards. The time period from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. when everybody's still kind of waking up and getting their coffee, that was, I don't know, $150 per lead or something like that. So from 6 to 7 a.m. it was very, very expensive. So we just made the decision, all right, we're just not going to show ads from 6 to 7 a.m.
And again, it's super important to understand that I've gone down this route where it's like $150 lead is still good for me. So what you want to do is actually get rid of that, because you want to be able to get more of the $30 per lead stuff, right? Within the same budgets. You want to focus on that. Once you've really got things humming, then you might want to expand it a little bit, but you really want to focus your efforts on those things. So, and when you're digging into the analytics, time of day is a really good one to sort of check in what's happening in the time of day. It could be specifically conversions, like a lead gen type thing, or click to calls and all that kind of stuff. And when is that actually working out? It can also be, what time of day are people actually getting to your website or actually doing things and engaging with you, and what kind of things are they doing at those times of day? So you start to kind of dig and explore a little bit. Maybe there's more research happening middle of the night and during the day, and you might think, that sounds like a cute thing to know, especially if you're not doing advertising, because advertising is a very direct thing. But it can really support you when you start making decisions like, when do I send out my email blast? And what kind of content do I put in my email blast if, say, it's at 6 p.m. versus at 10 a.m.? It might be a different variable there.
Mm-hmm. Because there's not only time of day, but there's also day of the week, for example, right? And so if we go back to the dental client, for example, to continue the example, probably on Friday, people aren't thinking about booking a dental appointment, right? They're thinking, the weekend is coming up. I want to have some fun. Sure. But then perhaps maybe Monday comes around and they're like, I have to go to work right now, and so they're thinking of like, their mind is going other places. Oh, I got to remember to book my dental appointment, right? And so we were seeing some trends that way, that I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday typically had better conversion values, whereas Friday, Saturday, Sunday wasn't so good.
And that might be like, okay, let's for that campaign. But what that may mean is Friday, Saturday, Sunday might be more where you put some awareness focus, because people are like might be more at home, more consuming a different platform rather than doing the search for the thing that I need to do, and therefore there might be a little bit more interest in discovering. So you start to play with that. Maybe it's not working in one platform or channel on certain days, but does work better on platforms or channels on other days, and that could be just where people are in the purchasing cycle. And so, you keep playing with those sorts of things. One thing that I actually really like is when you start measuring on seasonality. Because if you start to dig into seasonality, like what happens throughout the entire year, then you are really starting to master the game. So to give you an example of some seasonality, I actually advise most people to really look at their Happy New Year, like January, email blast types things from two perspectives. One is, if you've got a list in your email blasting January, you might be getting a lot more unsubscribes, because that's when people are like, okay, I got to get my act together. I'm going to just shed all of this stuff. And so if you just wait a little bit, you might be able to get more. You start playing with this. This is a theory, which I've actually observed, but it won't be necessarily the case. You also, the case with everybody, but you also, that might be the time to do more sort of lead gen conversion to stuff that people might want to do to set themselves up for success. So in our particular case, It may be the time to really say, hey, if you're a small business, you want to have 2021 really knock it out of the park. Here's an email series that you might want to consider. So that's where I would go with seasonality and monitoring your analytics as far as that goes. In terms of...
On that point, I think that speaks to as well, and we were kind of talking about this yesterday, but sometimes when people think of running an ad campaign, it's kind of like, all right, I'm going to run this once, or I'm going to run it for this month. And I think really what you're trying to highlight here is like, this is a multi-year long process where it takes time to see what are the changes each day, what are the changes through the week, what are the changes through the month, what are the changes through the year, how do things fluctuate, go up and down, and where can you find the best time to get in there?
Yeah, and in every single case, what you're doing here is looking for what's working, and sometimes more importantly, what's not working. And the question always is not, well, it doesn't work. That's a conclusion. That's not a question. When you're doing marketing, you're always asking the question. So the question is, why? What's happening here that this thing that I tried isn't working? And that's when you actually get the analytics really supporting you, because you're like, why did I not get more clicks? Why did I, get unsubscribes? Why? And then you actually and the other question asked is, how could I do this better? How could this be more improved? How can I understand this better? Because when you start asking those how questions leading you towards your goal, you're going to start to think of answers and maybe things that you might want to be digging into your analytics and really understanding, well, maybe it's the time of day, maybe it's the time of week, maybe it's the mobile device, it's the device that people are watching on. Let me go take a look at that. So you might take a look at, okay, I am getting a lot of people that are using this size window, like they're on a laptop. What does my website look like on a laptop? What does my email blast look like on a laptop or on a phone? Like, unbelievable amount of actual professional email newsletters that go out are not responsive to be able to view nicely on a phone. I have to turn my phone sideways and see a little sliver of the text and scroll through it, because if it's portrait, which is the way I like to, vertical is the way I like to actually consume my email, they haven't made the email responsive so that the image block at the top, which is a common thing to do, actually shrinks the whole thing down so that the text now shrinks small. And I almost guarantee you, if you're doing email, almost guarantee you that the majority of people are consuming it on phone, or a lot of people are. If they're not, that might only be because you're email blasting during the day, which is fine. It's going to be a little bit more of a desktop experience. Again, look at your analytics for this. If you're email blasting in the evening because you think that's the best time, it's got to be mobile. Because, well, almost 100% guarantee got to be mobile. But again, check your analytics.
Well, this was a big wake-up call for me, talking about device, just because for me, I typically, most of the time, I'm on my desktop, right? So I just assume, well, most people are probably on their desktop, right? But I find again and again and again and again, when I actually look at analytics data, most people, and of course, like it varies a little bit on the industry and the demographic, but typically we're talking 50, 60, 70, 80% of people are on a mobile device, which means if you're not thinking about the mobile experience, you're potentially upsetting a lot of people or making a lot of people go, I just don't want to read this. I'm not interested.
Yeah, or I'll read it later. And now they're putting it off to read it during the day. It gets buried in their email inbox. It's, now it's, 150 of their 500 emails that they've got and that sort of thing. And all of a sudden that opportunity is gone. That might've been there.
And one more point on that too, something I realized as well, because if we think of YouTube, typically we think of a widescreen experience. But I know there has been some shift on YouTube to actually have trying to do this here. I don't know if this is working.
Vertical, yeah.
But a tall experience, right? And
Yep.
So again, something to think about is when you put a video on YouTube, are you doing tall or widescreen? Are you going for mobile or desktop?
Mm-hmm. So that's...
which applies to ads as well.
Yeah. So vertical ads on YouTube are excellent. And again, this would probably come through in the analytics in general. But the reason for that is, at least for myself, I don't know if this is most people, but my behavior is I actually go through YouTube vertically because I can see the most as if I'm browsing through my home screen or my channels, and what YouTube is serving up to me for browse. That is on my phone the easiest way to see a whole bunch at once, for me to decide what to go for. So when I start, the ad that serves up is usually vertical because I'm starting in vertical. If I'm interested in the ad, I'm going to stay there. If I'm not, I'm just going to rotate to landscape and then skip as quickly as possible. So yeah, you really. So the reason why I want to bring this up is because most people think that time of day, mobile. Yes, I need mobile. Sure. But they don't get into the specifics and really understanding what's the customer experience or journey like. And your analytics can tell you so much stuff. So if, for instance, you're getting a lot of people coming to your site on iPhone in a specific browser, check out your site on this. Like, really check out what's going on your website and base it on the analytics that you actually are getting, because you might be surprised. And the reason why you might be surprised is because CNN would be surprised, because CNN, guess what? CNN, for many, many months now, on at least a few phones that I've used, on Android, on Chrome, certain versions perhaps, if you actually click in to go to an article, the read more thing is busted and you actually can't see the rest of the article. And that would show up in analytics. It might not show up now because it's just a thing that happens, or at least not as clearly. But when they introduced this feature for their advertising, to bring up advertising, if they were really paying attention, I think they would have seen a dip in analytics, at least across a specific browser and device combination. It's bizarre that it's still there.
Yeah, and you bring up a really good point here about the rabbit hole that you can go down, but analytics gives you like not only mobile, desktop, tablet, but also, is it Android? Is it Apple? Is it a Samsung? Were they on Chrome, or were they on Safari, or were they on Firefox? Like, you can start drilling down to that level of detail.
And mobile is not just everything. Yeah, mobile is not just everything. It is tablet too. And experience it on your phone, on tablet, landscape and portrait, if that's a thing that your analytics tells you to do. Like, you really want to know what to attribute your success to. This is what digging into all of this stuff is all about. Sorry, I think I kind of interrupted you there, but I got excited.
No, it was good. I was going to say, Patricia did leave a comment about desktop and mobile devices settings are different, but the good thing is that the majority of webs and apps are user-friendly on both. And I think she's right to a degree. There's a lot of responsiveness between the two. But I know something for us definitely internally, as we were looking at creating our ad campaigns, was we were looking at creating separate ad campaigns, like editing the video differently to be, widescreen on YouTube on a desktop versus being tall orientation for Facebook in a story. So there is a lot of customization that you can do to be suitable across all the different platforms.
For sure. And now let me put this into context, because at the beginning, you might not have enough traffic for this to really matter too much. You saw it on your phone, maybe you checked it out on your laptop or your desktop, and you're just going to go. As you get more visitors and more audience and more people, and you're starting to spend money against it, you want to look at your analytics, see what people are using, and prioritize it based on what they're using and all of that type of stuff. And look at browser. Are they using Chrome? Are they using Edge? Are they using Safari? And where are they using it? What OS? And then actually go check it out. There are tools online. One of them is called Browser Stack, which allows you to see and experience your website with different devices. There's also things that you can do within different things. And we'll create a blog post at some point with giving you some technical things on how to do this, but just know you need to dig into this stuff and find out what your users are actually experiencing, especially as you increase the effort you're doing to have people drive to your website.
Yeah.
Just always dig into it, because you almost guaranteed, including us, are losing a certain percentage of people because of the experience that they're getting. the reason why I say that is because there's people that are, still browsing on Internet Explorer 6. And I'm sorry, all of the websites we build now are going to be broken in it. But if there were a high enough percentage, we would actually worry about it. It's a wild world out there right now, and there's a lot of different possibilities of how people are going to experience you. If you want to know what's going on with your website and what you're attributing success to and what you're attributing possibly failure to, or where your opportunities are, dig into your analytics, do some basic stuff and understand how people are seeing it, what time of day people are seeing it. When you're doing email blasts, think about these basic things. What are they seeing? What devices are they seeing it on? And really start to figure out where things are going for your website, how you can, where are the gaps, and sink into and understand your customer's journey. When you have a store, it's so easy to know every single person is going to come in through this door, and they're going to come into my place and they're going to get some sort of experience, whatever that happens to be. When you have a website, there's a million different ways. You think about, they talk about accessibility for a store where you need a ramp. Well, on your website, it is not just accessibility. That's an important thing too. But, all the different vehicles that they're using to get into your store are very broad ranged. And maybe you're not being very inviting at 2 a.m. in the morning for some reason. There's a lot of different things going on there. Maybe you're putting too much effort at 2 a.m. because there's nobody to answer the request at that point. Which actually brings us to one last point. It is like 11:35. My apologies. When you look at your analytics, also look to see other than the homepage, which is going to be usually vastly majority of people, the traffic that you're getting, how are people getting into your website? What pages are they using to get into your website?
That's a really good point. I've actually seen this time and time and time again, that a certain client, there'll be one blog post in particular that was just really well written, really well done for SEO. And so one blog post in particular will bring the majority of the traffic to their website. Yeah. And so the question then is that blog post a good first entry point for people?
Yeah. What's going on with your brand? Is there a high bounce rate on it? Is there a call to action, or is there a next thing for people? Will they be confused and they're just going to read the blog post and they're going to jump? So again, when you're looking at these analytics, they might just seem like numbers, but behind those numbers are people. And those are your people.
Those are your people.
Yeah, they're your peeps. So figure out what's going on for them. Never mind just a little bit of a slice that you've gotten as far as as far as checking out. And it's okay. Take time with it. It's a thing that has to happen over time. Okay. What do you think of that?
I love it.
Okay. Perfect. So remember, dig into your analytics, figure what you can attribute success to, figure out where your gaps are, and then ask yourself that question. How do I improve, or what can I learn from this thing that I'm looking at? And if you have questions on it, because you're digging into your analytics, just ask us and we'll answer them on the show as best as we can. Actually, we'll answer them on the show. Actually, that's a statement anybody would make. Yes, of course. If we answer them on the show, we're going to answer them as best. No, we're going to answer them on the show as worst as we can. No. Okay.
Are we in a bizarro universe again?
We are ready to cut. We are ready to stop this thing. All right, here we go. Outro. I need my shades for this outro.
You've tuned in to COVID Marketing with Brent Kobayashi and Arthur Tutt, the show to support small business not just to survive, but to thrive.
All righty. Thank you so much for joining us for episode number 59. And tomorrow, we're going to talk more about video ads. So you don't want to miss that, because video is where it's at.
Video.
Yeah, it's such a powerful thing to do. Okie dokie.
Should we cut it?